Hi guys, welcome to the Darkness channel and don't forget to like and subscribe. Shizako reached her hand towards Hana's shoulder, but pulled it back. Nothing to say? That's what I thought. Why don't you do me a favor and go back to hell where you belong? There's nothing you can do. Shizako faded back into the darkness. The next few days went by without any incidents. There were no sightings of Shizako, nor were there any signs that she was present. It seemed the whole matter had finally been laid to rest. But on Hana's walk home from school one day, she would find out hard way that an angry spirit never just went away. Waiting to cross the street, Hana found herself suddenly feeling a familiar presence behind her. There were others around, leaving her unable to make any crude remarks without looking somewhat disturbed, doing her best to ignore Shizako. Hana waited impatiently for the light to turn green. A hand clutching her by the shoulder startled Hana, but she remained calm. The calm was short-lived, though, as Hana was then pushed off the curb and into the road. She had been pushed with enough force to send her falling. A speeding truck slammed on the brakes, but there was no way it would be able to stop in time. Fortunately for Hana, she hadn't been pushed very far from the curb, making it possible for a man waiting to cross the street to pull her back to safety. "Are you all right?" he asked. "Why did you jump into the street? Are you trying to kill yourself?" "You bitch!" exclaimed Hana, completely ignoring the man who had just saved her life. "You can't do that. You can't change the rules." She then began looking for the source of her frustration, but all Hana found was a crowd of curious onlookers. Realizing how strange she was making herself look, Hana sprinted away. The so-called changing of the rules did not end with that single act. For days, Hana was subjected to numerous random shoves by Shizako. Most of them came at school, where Hana was made to look quite foolish in front of all her peers. For no reason at all, it seemed she would nearly fall down the stairs, fall while running during PE, or fall in the middle of the hallway while there was no one near her to cause such an accident. The students at the school were all entertained by Hana's recent string of clumsy behavior. But Sayori felt far different about what she witnessed. She was able to see Shizako while she was pushing Hana to the floor. Though Hana could no longer be considered a friend, Sayori felt she had to do something to help her. "Hana," said Sayori, catching her one-time friend in the hallway. "What do you want?" asked Hana, not bothering to turn around. "I know that it's Shizako that's been doing these things to you." "Oh, so that's what you want to talk about?" said Hana before spinning around to direct her glare at Sayori. "You came to rub it in, didn't you?" "No, I didn't. I just wanted..." Hana cut off Sayori before she could finish what she was saying. "Did you think I needed your help?" she asked. "Well, I don't. Even if I did, there's nothing you can do. Just because she won't hurt you doesn't mean you can do anything to help me." You think if you ask her to stop, she will? Of course not. She's not going to stop until I'm dead. The anger that had been so evident on Hannah's face quickly gave way to sorrow. I didn't do anything to deserve this. I just wanted to scare her. If you let me help you, I'm sure we can figure something out. The grief that had overtaken Hannah was quickly replaced by anger. You did this to me, didn't you? She asked. What? Asked Sayari. You told her to do this to me and the others. It's because you were friends. That's why she won't hurt you. That's not true. You probably go home at night and laugh at me behind my back. You wanted one last chance to rub this in my face before that bitch finished me off. You thought I wouldn't figure it out, but I'm too smart not to see through your act. No, you're wrong, said Sayari. I know how to put an end to this, said Hannah. You didn't think I'd be able to figure it out, but there are people who specialize in this sort of things. She then made her way past Sayari, bumping into her roughly with her shoulder. Don't get in my way again. Hannah had rushed to a local physics after school. Most of the girls at school knew of the woman, as she was sought by young ladies who wanted to know what kind of boy they would soon start dating. Though many times her predictions proved to be quite wrong, she remained a sign of hope for those who had little left. So sure was Hannah that her idea would work that the smug demeanor that was so familiar to her returned once she entered the women's establishment. Hannah sat across from the shriveled old woman at a small table and listened intently. So, you say the ghost of your dead friend has come back to seek revenge? Asked the old woman. What did you do to her that caused her demise? Who said I had anything to do with it? Asked Hannah. She died all on her own, and I never said she was my friend. A spirit that comes back for revenge always has a good reason. I didn't come here to be a cause of something I didn't do, exclaimed Hannah. Now, tell me how to get rid of these things or I'll go to someone else. You must return to the place where the girl's spirit left her physical body, said the old woman. For that is where her vengeance was born into this world. It is there where you must destroy something of hers that will take the place of her once physical self. Is that all it will take? Asked Hannah. Are you sure? This is all you need to do. If you don't believe me, you're free to go somewhere else. But I've seen this work many times before. I have a picture she owned, said Hannah. Will that work? It will work just fine. Take the picture to where your troubles began and destroy it. Once you have destroyed your chosen object, your trouble will be gone. I'm going to get that bitch, whispered Hannah. Before she made her way to the beach, Hannah called Sayori and told her to meet her at the cliff where Shizuko had met her demise. She made sure to let Sayori know that she was going to rid the world of Shizuko once and for all. The once clear sky had since become filled with ominous black clouds, and a fierce wind had begun to sweep across the beach. I don't think this is a good idea, said Sayori, who stood at a distance from Hannah. who was very near the edge of the cliff, just like Shizuko had been. Of course you would say that, said Hana. You don't want me to do anything to your precious Shizuko, but you can't do anything to stop me. Oh, Sayori-chan, if only you hadn't told Shizuko to take revenge on us. We could have remained friends, but you had to betray me. Maybe you did it to save your own life. I really don't care, but for that, I had to make sure you never betrayed me again. What are you talking about? Before I called you, I sent a letter to the police. It tells them that they should look into the elementary school Shizuko used to attend. Then check what elementary school you went to. It won't be hard for them to realize the two of you used to know each other. That alone will make the police suspicious of you. As for me, I have no connection to her. I didn't even come to live in the city until junior high. Why would you do that? Asked Sayori. Don't ask stupid questions. It's because you sent that bitch Shizuko after me like she was your attack dog. What made you think she wasn't going to do the same to me that she did to Nami and Aika? Asked Sayori. I was there when she died too. I'm just as guilty. Stop talking to me like I don't know what's going on, said Hana, pulling out the picture Sayori had drawn all those years ago. She then produced a lighter. You two have been working together from the very start. You tried to stop us from bullying Shizuko, and now you want us to die for what we did. How can you think that? Why would I have wanted any of these to happen? Nami and Aika were my friends too. I never wanted them to die. How should I know why you wanted this to happen? Maybe it's because you're crazy. Hana then held the picture up. Where are you now, Shizuko? Huh? Now that you know the end is near, you hide? That doesn't sound like much of a ghost to me. Please stop this. Shut up, shouted Hana. I'm going to prove to you that no one messes with me. I don't care if they're living or dead. And with that, Hana lit the picture on fire. She held onto it until there was barely anything left, then let it go, where it danced on the weeping wind before it burned away to nothing. It's over. I hope you're proud of yourself, said Sayori. Of course, I'm proud of myself, said Hana. Why shouldn't I be? I haven't a care in the world. She then looked to the glowing sky above. Maybe I'll visit you in prison sometime. How does that sound? Afraid to look at me when you say those things? Asked Sayori. I'm not afraid of anything, said Hana before turning around. The cheer died quickly when Hana found Shizuko standing behind her. How? Shizuko took Hana in a tight embrace and jumped off the cliff, like Shizuko had done before her. Hana slammed into the jagged rocks below, with much trepidation in each step. Sayori made her way to the edge of the cliff. Lying in the mangled mess upon the jagged rocks below was Hana. Even in death, her eyes were casting a vicious glare at Sayori. After returning home, Sayori locked herself in her room and turned off all lights. She had a very strong feeling that she would be receiving a visit soon now. that 3 of the 4 girls responsible for Shizako's death had been dealt with. As she had been anticipating, Sayori began to sense a presence behind her. It was the moment she had been fearing. But at the same time, Sayori was eager to get the moment over with, as the waiting had been wearing her down. Sayori's heart began to race and her breathing became sporadic. Still, Sayori knew she had to fight her fear and confront her departed friend. "Shizako-chan," said Sayori, her voice barely louder than a whisper. "I know that's you, and I know why you're here." Tears immediately began to fill Sayori's face. "If this appeases your anger, then take me like you took the others. I'm just as much to blame for what happened to you as they were. I knew something was going to happen that day, but I didn't know things would go that far. Still, I shouldn't have been so afraid that I couldn't stop them." The presence behind Sayori was growing nearer. "All I've been able to think about these last few days was how good of a friend you were," said Sayori. "How if you had been put in the position I had been in, you never would have let anyone do anything to hurt me." Shizako's hand was slowly nearing Sayori's shoulder. "You deserved a better friend than me," said Sayori, prompting Shizako to pull her hand back. "Why couldn't I have been as good as you?" Shizako lowered her head as if she was feeling some sort of shame for what she had been preparing to do to the only real friend she ever had. "I'd never forget how we used to draw pictures of what we wanted to be when we grew up," said Sayori. "We weren't afraid to tell each other our dreams. Remember the picture you drew where you were a nurse? You would have made such a good one. But we took that away from you. Not only did we hurt you, but we hurt all the people you were going to help. I never could have shared my dreams with those girls. They weren't kind like you. But that kindness led you to believe that everyone was kind, and that's why you died." Once again, Shizako reached her hand toward Sayori. "Do it, Shizako-chan," said Sayori. "Do it before I become one of those people who lives only to bring pain and sadness to others." Gently, a hand came to rest on Sayori's shoulder. When she spun around, all Sayori found was a piece of paper slowly falling to the floor. Picking it up, Sayori discovered it was the picture she had drawn that was thought to have been destroyed by Hana. "Shizako-chan," said Sayori, her eyes stinging shut with tears. "I'm sorry." The police had been notified of Hana's body lying mangled upon the rocks. Detectives Yamamoto and Tamaki were in charge of the investigation, as there was no doubt that Hana's death was directly linked to the death of her friends. "Looks like we've only got one left," said Tamaki. "Do you think this has to do with the letter she sent us? Maybe she told her friend what she died, and this was the price she paid for letting her secret slip." "That letter didn't tell us anything we didn't already know," said Yamamoto. "We knew early into our investigation that the victim went to the same elementary school as one of our suspects. But she didn't seem like the type who would do something like this. We'll have to have a talk with her. It seems obvious now that she was the one behind the other death. It's always the ones you least expect, isn't it? Maybe, said Yamamoto. He then took a long drag on his cigarette and began pondering the bizarre situation. Then again, Yamamoto looked over the edge of the cliff and at Hana, whose glare even in death sent a chill down his spine. Is it really over? Or did someone just create a new monster? Sayori left her house early the next morning to visit Shizako's grave before school. She had brought with her a single white lily, which she placed at the foot of Shizako's grave marker. Placing her hands together, Sayori prayed for her friend. Shizako, may your soul finally be able to find peace, she said, thinking of the friendship and pleasant moments she had shared with Shizako rather than the events that led to her demise. Sayori was able to produce a smile. Checking her watch, Sayori realized that she would have to hurry if she wanted to get to school before they closed the front gate. As she began her departure, a bitterly cold wind swept through the cemetery, stopping Sayori dead in her tracks. Something about her immediate surroundings suddenly felt wrong to Sayori. The feeling grew to a frightening level when she realized someone was now standing behind her. "Hey, Sayori-chan," said a voice that sent a chill down Sayori's spine. It was a voice she knew well, a voice that had always frightened her. And it wasn't before long when a hand came to a rest upon her shoulder. "Don't turn around." Thanks for staying till the end. Please subscribe to more stories.